Ladies and gentlemen, members of the university faculty, and our degree candidates, as Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs here at the University of Texas at Arlington, I hereby call this commencement ceremony to order. I would now like to ask you all to please rise for the presentation of our national colors by the UT Arlington Corps of Cadets, which will be followed by the singing of our national anthem by Ashley Gent. Gentlemen, if you would please remove your caps. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. I would now like to call upon Dean Khajro Bibahani to preside over today's ceremony. Dean Bibahani.
Thank you, Provost Elsenbaumer, for opening the ceremony today and for being here today. Thank you as well to the UT President, Vistas Karbhari, who will be conferring the degrees later in the ceremony. Good afternoon, honored guests, faculty, friends, families, and graduates. I'm pleased to welcome you to the Fall 2015 College of Engineering Commencement Ceremony. I would like to introduce the other members of the stage party this afternoon. Dr. Lynn Peterson, Senior Associate Dean of College of Engineering. Dr. Parnesh Ashwat, Associate Dean of College of Engineering for Graduate Affairs. Dr. Rachel Croson, Dean of College of Business. Mr. Sean Donahue, Chief Executive Officer for Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport and our keynote speaker. Dr. Ron Elsenbaumer, Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. Dr. Vistas Karpari, President. Dr. Timothy Quinnen, Vice President of Student Affairs. Dr. Ashley Ferguson, Assistant Vice President for Strategic Initiatives. Dr. Michael Cho, Chair of Bioengineering. Dr. Ali Abulmaali, Chair of Civil Engineering. Dr. Hong Jiang, Chair of Computer Science and Engineering. Dr. Jonathan Brado, Chair of Electrical Engineering. Dr. Paul Componation, Chair of Industrial, Manufacturing, and Systems Engineering. Dr. Stathis Miletus, Chair of Material Science and Engineering. Dr. Arian Armanios, Chair of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Dr. Dwayne Demos, Vice President for Research. Ms. Jean Hood, Vice President of Human Resources. Dr. Linda Johnsrud, Vice President for Academic Planning and Strategic Partnership. Dr. Carter Tiernan, Assistant Dean for Student Affairs and our announcer for today. At this time, I would like to take a moment to recognize an important group of people who helped each graduate reach this important milestone, members of the faculty. These dedicated women and men have not only provided you with important classroom instruction, but they have shaped your intellectual formation in labs, in the field, and in the community. They have served as teachers, mentors, and role models, collaborating with you in the pursuit of academic achievement and preparation of what lies ahead, be it further study, entry into educational workforce, or some other post-commencement adventure. Would all members of the faculty please rise to be recognized? Thank you. Please be seated. I'm so happy to see so much excitement here today. Graduates, you and your families have much to be proud of. Members of the faculty of the College of Engineering and the university are delighted to see that you have successfully reached this milestone of your life. Congratulations to you all. The practice of engineering has changed rapidly in recent years. It has become increasingly collaborative and has a truly global reach. No longer you will be sitting at your desk working alone as part of a small team of employees in some building. Instead, today's engineers are trusted into a world that mimics a city that never sleeps. Major corporations in the world, such as Fluor, Microsoft, Google, and Bechtel, just to name a few, are now able to work around the clock using teams at different locations worldwide. You may begin your day here in the Metroplex working on a project that has just arrived at your desk on your computer from another corner of the world, where their workday ends as yours start. After a workday here, you will be passing on your project to a team member, perhaps in Asia Pacific, where her workday starts as yours ends. When she's done for the day, a counterpart in Europe perhaps will step in and continue the work, and before they send it back to you for the next day. A lot of progress, of course, is made in between where your day ends and where the next day starts. This design relay system allows completion of colossal engineering design projects in much faster time. Such achievements, however, can only be made possible if team members work together in a trusting and collaborative way. No matter where the team member is, whether at the desk next to you or around the world. Today's technology allows that most, if not all, large engineering projects be global through collaboration. As you enter the workforce, you will be expected to find ways to communicate with each other, know each other, and work alongside with each other. I have often said that engineers change the world for human good. There are many ways to create links across the world, but engineers speak the universal language of science and technology. That offers a huge opportunity to collaborate globally, connect globally, and understand globally. As you carry the UTA engineering banner forward, you will be connecting with other engineers around the globe who, like you, have the knowledge to innovate, design, and build things that have never been before. To do so, you need to win the trust and respect of those whom you work with. To win such trust, you should strive to practice by the strictest ethical guidelines so that your work is beyond reproach. You should carry the UTA banner with pride forward as an example of excellence. You should think and dream and contribute. Thank you. It's now my pleasure and privilege to introduce our keynote speaker today. Mr. Sean Donohue serves as Chief Executive Officer of Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, the fourth busiest airport in the world. In his role as CEO, Mr. Donohue is responsible for the management, operation, and future strategy and development of the airport. As Chief Executive of DFW Airport, Mr. Donohue manages an organization with 1,800 employees and an annual budget of $800 million, as well as $3 billion in capital improvement programs. DFW produces more than $37 billion in annual economic impact for the Dallas-Fort Worth region and hosts 64 million customers each year. In its 41 years of existence, DFW has grown into one of the world's preeminent global super hubs, consistently ranking among the best large airports for customer service. DFW connects the North Texas region with non-stop service to more than 200 destinations on the 5 continents. Mr. Donohue joined DFW International Airport in October of 2013, following a 28-year of excellent career in airline industry. Prior to his arrival at DFW, Mr. Donohue served for 3 years as Chief Operating Officer for Virgin Australia Airlines, where he led day-to-day operations for Australia's second-largest air carrier. Prior to that, Mr. Donahue served for 25 years with United Airlines in a variety of executive roles that included operations, sales, and commercial startups. Mr. Donahue graduated from Boston College with a Bachelor of Science degree in Marketing and Economics and is a native of Massachusetts. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sean Donahue.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Dean Bebehani, thank you very much. President Kabari, thank you. And the distinguished leadership of UTA, thank you for the privilege of being able to speak today. It really is an honor to represent DFW Airport today. We have hundreds of engineers who work at this airport, who perform incredibly important activities every day, and who really have been instrumental in building, in designing, in developing this great asset for the region. And while I'm not an engineer, I'm blessed to have some very, very talented engineers at the airport. And again, this airport would not be what it is without the engineers in all the various disciplines who've helped build this airport and who will help continue to build and grow the airport over the next couple of decades. But before I get into my remarks, I'd like to recognize some important groups here today. Obviously, we did recognize the faculty, but I remember from my days in college, and I recognize my wife Susan is here today. We've had 2 of our children graduate from college. We have a senior in college right now. And faculty do not just challenge minds, but they change lives. And I think all of you sitting down in front of me would agree with that. So to the faculty, again, congratulations for everything you've done. And the families, the friends, the families, the loved ones who are here today. You have supported your sons and daughters. You have pushed them. You have challenged them. You've given them trust, you've given them patience, maybe you've given them a few dollars as well to attend UTA. And as I look out here, and I was able to speak with the Dean for a few minutes before the ceremony, you have a lot to be proud of when you look out at this audience and the talented and capable people that you have raised and supported. So to the friends and the families and the loved ones, congratulations as well. And to the 2015 graduates, my sincere congratulations. You might not recognize it right now, but as I look back 30, 35 years ago, and I look at my career, it probably didn't dawn on me when I graduated university in 1983 that it was one of the most important accomplishments in my life. So as you walk out of here today, a graduate, being PhD or master's or undergrad, keep your head high. It is an incredible achievement. It's taken an incredible amount of work. It's taken an incredible amount of resiliency, and you've been relentless in your studies. And on behalf of everybody, we congratulate you for that, so congratulations. Now, I've got to be honest with everybody. I had some people on my team write a speech for me, and they did a really good job, but I thought to myself, if I give a 10-minute speech, I'm not sure anyone's going to really remember what I said. So if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of go off the cuff. And, 10 minutes is not a long time to make an impact on the graduates today. And in 10 minutes, you can rush, and when you rush, you make mistakes. And I just want to read to you a letter, an email that went out to some folks at a company that my son works for. And I would cite this as an example of rushing through your remarks, and I'm going to try to avoid doing that today. So here's the example, and Bear with me. So it was an announcement on a promotion. And the email says, I'm pleased to announce that Sharon has joined the operations planning team as manager airport operations, reporting to me. Again, this is not my email. I want to make this clear. Sharon celebrated 20 years recently with the company. She has extensive experience and has worked as a supervisor. She just earned her Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. And after 6 years of doing great work, she is finally joining our team. Well, here's where things got a little rushed. When Sharon is not working, she enjoys spending time with your husband. So you can imagine that it took about a minute for this email to go out before a correction email went out. And again, I cite that as an example of not rushing through the remarks, and I'll try to learn from that today. So, as we celebrate your graduation today, I would like to talk about 3 subjects. And I'll be candid, they really don't have a lot to do with engineering, but if you bear with me, hopefully they'll make some sense. First subject is leadership. As the dean said, I grew up in the Boston area, so when I look out at this audience and I look at the graduates, the term that comes to mind to me is all of you are wicked smart. And there's no question about what you have accomplished and what you are going to accomplish as you build, as you design, as you innovate, as you solve, as you invent, as you start up your own companies, as you help other companies grow, as you stay in academia. You are going to accomplish a lot, and you are going to drive a lot of success. There's no question about that. But I would challenge you, we're going to need more from you than just that. We are going to need your leadership. We absolutely need, in this country, more talented, smart leaders. We're desperate for them. So, as you move forward and you choose whatever path you want to take, I urge you, please find a way to take a leadership role. I look at my career, and I've been blessed to have a lot of leadership roles. In one of my positions at United, I had the responsibility for 22,000 pilots and flight attendants. There's probably some pilots and flight attendants in here today. I think they would agree it's really challenging to lead pilots and flight attendants. So, we need leaders. We need you to think about how you can innovate, how you can build relationships, how you can influence, how you can persuade, but most importantly, how you can take care of others. When the dean mentioned all the statistics about DFW Airport and how big we are and how many operations and all of that, the most important aspect of DFW Airport in my role as a CEO is the 1,800 employees who work for me and the 60,000 employees who work at the airport and the 225,000 jobs in this region that are related to the airport. It is about taking care of your people. It's about helping them grow. It's about helping them succeed. So please, I urge you, you're incredibly smart. You're incredibly talented. Take it to the next level, whatever path you go, and look for those leadership opportunities. Look for mentors. Look for people who can help you on the journey, and then you can also be mentors to them. And finally, as it relates to leadership, I urge you to also always challenge the status quo. You know, today, especially in this country, if you listen to everything you hear or you read or you listen or anything you read or you watch, it's very difficult these days to determine what's fact and what's fiction. So challenge the status quo. You have the ability, you have the smarts. Challenge it. It's a good thing to do. We will all be better for it. So, learning never ends, and leadership always matters. Next subject, flexibility. Again, I don't know a lot about engineering, but what I do know is it's based upon data, it's calculations, it's doing the work in a very disciplined way. So when I talk about flexibility and when I actually talk about risk-taking, I'm not necessarily talking about the work you do and the quality of that work. What I'm talking about is your career. I urge you, again, take some risks, think outside of the box. And what do I mean by that? Our oldest daughter just graduated recently, a couple years ago, with a Bachelor of Arts degree. She wound up deciding to go in to teach for America. And she taught for 2 years in rural North Carolina. She's got more guts than anyone in our family. She has seen things that most of us in this room probably will never see and experience. But she did it, she's better off for it, and now she's ready for the next step in her life. Take some challenges, take some risk. You know, from our perspective, we have moved 8 or 9 times in the last 25 or 30 years. In my career, I've had 14 different jobs. That doesn't mean people get sick of me. I think I actually earned some of those jobs. But my point is, step out of the box, take some risk, think about other opportunities. It creates energy. It creates momentum. And just like all of you have done in the last 4 years, in learning different disciplines, in different courses, it makes you a better person for the future. And finally, when it comes to yourself and the work-life balance, today is all about you, as it should be. And you've accomplished an incredible amount in the last several years. And as you walk out of here, as you know, life can be a grind. There will be challenges. There'll be heartbreaks. There'll be sorrow. So you have to have a balance. You have to be able to have some fun. And when I say fun, I don't mean, you know, the Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night fun. Although I would say, you know, when I graduated in 1983, fun on a college campus was just really Friday and Saturday night. When our son went to college 10 years ago, I think it was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And as our daughter graduates this year, now I think it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. But I digress. Travel. Explore. I know there's many students in here today who are international students, and I give you a tremendous amount of credit because you decided to come over here to study. All of us need to explore. All of us need to travel. It creates a great work-life balance. As the dean said, we spent 3 years in Australia. In many ways, it was the best 3 years of our life, and I think our children would say the same thing. You learn a new culture. You learn about how people look at their country. You really learn about how people view our country. So I challenge you, I urge you, find that right balance. Be it music, be it arts, be it sports, whatever the case may be, you're all going to work very hard. Find some time to find that balance. Our balance in our life has been our 5 kids. And we've been very fortunate. And, you know, finally, after the 5th kid was born, my wife and I said, we've got to figure out how to stop this momentum. And what we figured out, and again, it goes to kind of the work-life balance. You know, my wife would occasionally have a second drink at night. And she would look at me, and I'd see her look at me, and it kind of a look like, well, I guess you're really not all that unattractive. So she stopped having the second drink at night. And then I had an engineering solution at the doctor's office, and we finally figured it out. So we've now moved on. So, in wrapping up, class of 2015, I want to congratulate all of you. Problems of energy will be addressed by people in this room. Questions of environmental sustainability will be answered by people in this class. Challenges of global security will be met by people in this class. You will reach great heights because you have shown the ability to go to great lengths. You will do more than make a living with your education. You will make a difference with your dedication. And while some people may spend their lives building careers, you as engineers and as leaders will spend your careers building lives. So congratulations on your achievement. Good luck in the future. And as they say in aviation, I wish you nothing but clear skies and tailwinds. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Donahue, for such an inspiring talk. To our graduates, really appreciate it. Let's appreciate this talk. And now we begin in the awarding the degrees. Please notice that many candidates will have cords, stoles, and medallions to recognize their accomplishment and achievements. Some of you will notice that it includes an orange, white, and blue cord indicating cum laude, magna cum laude, and summa cum laude. Additionally, those bachelor graduates who are wearing red cords have completed an internship or co-op, and those wearing purple cords have participated in undergraduate research during their studies at UT Arlington. It is our pleasure to recognize the candidates receiving the doctoral degrees. Dr. Parnesh Ashwat, Associate Dean for Graduate Studies, will present the candidates.
At this time, we will recognize all the candidates for doctoral degrees. Candidates, please rise and come forward. I'm pleased to recognize that these individuals, by satisfactorily completing their current semester of academic work, will meet all the requirements for their degrees as specified by the Graduate Studies Committees and the Graduate Assembly. At this time, I will ask the faculty members who will be hooding students who have satisfied the requirements for their doctoral degrees to please watch for their students and come forward to hood them when their name is called.
Richard Allen Leach, PhD in Industrial Engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. John Priest. Rachel Alex, PhD in bioengineering. Her supervising professor is Dr. Khosrow Bebahani. Alireza Sayah, PhD in civil engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. Ali Abamali. Gautam Raghavendra Yapi, PhD in civil engineering. Supervising professors, Dr. Melanie Sattler and Dr. Michael Manry. Puriya Hajialikani, PhD in Civil Engineering. Supervising Professor, Dr. Shiho Chow. Ashish Pradhan, PhD in Civil Engineering. Supervising Professor, Dr. Zhenbao Yu. Hamida Riazi, PhD in Civil Engineering. Her Supervising Professor, Dr. Dongjun Xiao. Yaro E. Yepes, PhD in Civil Engineering. Supervising Professor, Dr. Lariano Hoyas. Tuan An Nguyen, PhD in Computer Science. Supervising Professor, Dr. Christoph Sollner. Tuan is being hooded by Dr. Matthew Wright. Min Gong Kang, PhD in Computer Science. Supervising Professor, Dr. Jean Gao. SM Taibul Hauk. Yaking Lee, PhD in Computer Science. Supervising Professor, Dr. Junzao Huang. Gustavo Armando Puerta Souza, PhD in Computer Science. Supervising Professor, Dr. Gianluca Mariattini. Aaron Nigel Storanowitz, PhD in Computer Science. Supervising Professor, Dr. Gianluca Mariattini. Mohammed Merab Sharir, PhD in Computer Science. Supervising Professors, Dr. Yonghee Liu and Dr. Sajal Das. Tanmoy Baumik, PhD in Electrical Engineering. Supervising Professor, Dr. Suntorn Arantara. Tanmoy is being hooded by Dr. Jonathan Bredo. Muyamin Islam, PhD in Electrical Engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. Samir Iqbal. Hamid Reza Moradaris, PhD in Electrical Engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. Frank Lewis. Vahid Reza Nasirian, PhD in Electrical Engineering. His supervising professor, Dr. Ali Davoudi. Mohammed Assad Noor, PhD in Electrical Engineering. His supervising professor, Dr. Zainab Shalik Butler. George John Toscano, PhD in Electrical Engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. Venkat Davarajan. Zenyuan Zhang, PhD in Electrical Engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. Wei Jin Lee. Yishu Wang, PhD in Material Science and Engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. Estatos Milleres. Syed Duwar Sajad, PhD in Material Science and Engineering. His supervising professor is Dr. Fuqiang Liu. Julia Elaine Klein, PhD in Aerospace Engineering. Her supervising professor, Dr. Andrew McKeeve. Julia is being headed by Dr. Arian Armanius. Ghassan Atme, PhD in Aerospace Engineering. The supervising professor is Dr. Kamesh Subbarao. Mariana Luisa Vallejo, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Her supervising professor, Dr. Dereje Aganafre. Pavitra Anuradi Lakshika Wejathunga, PhD in Mechanical Engineering. Her supervising professor, Dr. Haijin Moon.
Okay. Yeah. Please join me in congratulating our newest PhDs. Will the master students, candidates now please rise and come forward? I am pleased to recognize that these individuals, by satisfactorily completing the current semester of academic work, will meet all the requirements for their degrees as specified by the Graduate Studies Committees and the Graduate Assembly.
We will now recognize the master's candidates in the Department of Bioengineering. Shruti M. Amin. Juan Pablo Angulo. Venkata Raunik Avatapalli. Ching Ding. Victor Andre Fernandez. Aida Humuyan. Mohammed Rehan Jinnah. Varun AJ Kanal. Ukesh Kandal. Nazanin Musavi. Tin Win. Akansha Viresh Sharma. Nandeep Devadari Shrestha. Piyush Raj Wagal. We will now recognize the master's candidates in the Department of Civil Engineering. Kamal Abbas. Yasir El Sadiq Abdel Razig. Cesar Aguirre. Salah Abdulmadi Al-Janabi. Muntasir Albu Malula. Narasima Reddy Alimanati. Ifat B. Arzani. Akila Reddy Gandhi. Krishna Chaitanya Gudar. Crystal Jamaica. Vinod Reddy Kamagani Kuntla. Mohammed Reza Khaja Hosseini. Bunjun Ray Kim. Saitej Kotagiri. Aditya Prem Kumar Kurambalyani. Abhilash Reddy Manda. Jasmine Sivan Martel. Krishna Priya Metunka. Sayada Hosna Musavirpur. Sumita Nagirikanti. Essam Khalid Nassar. Pavan Kedar Pasupuleri. Sujit Dao Pawar. Vivek Chand Pandachala. Hoda Rahimi. Hussein Sadeghi. Jeffrey Scheid. Ayad Sheet. Dushant Reddy Tadasina. Sandith Tamarakar. Reggie George Thomas. Saranya Vimula. Nikki Akbareja. We will now recognize the master's candidates in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. Venkata Satya Aparanija Alamura. Shreyas Anand. Abhisheka Ananyagari. Muhammad Saad Ater. Deepak Chand Atluri. Mahesh Biala. Lakshmi Shravanti Odapati. Sai Chitunya Reddy Budida. Alex Reagan Borg. Alan Brown. Naga Guthami Bhumi Reddy. David Kalmiz. Aditya Chandrasekhar. Akshata Chanakrishnapa. Matthew Raymond Chedister. Om Chidananda. Vamsi Krishna Chinala. Carson Blaine Clanton. Sean Anthony Crane. Pavani Kamala Davaluri. Fatma Dogan. Priyanka Reddy Dubaka. Jonathan Wayne Eason. Ravi Teja Gada. Sasidar Gadupoti. Nikitha Ganeshmurthy. Himant Gedada. Ankur Goyal. Saipradap Kuduri. Yash Gupta. Raghu Pavan Gurala. Rakibul Hassan. Patrick Michael Hucks. William Hunter Jr., receiving a master's in software engineering and a master's in systems engineering. Alice Olga Jose. Munamal Joseph. Sagar Kairamkonda Viresh Padmavati. Sumya Kambapati. Sri Varsha Kanteti. Nandini Ketaneni. Aravind Krishna Kumar. Sneha Kulkarni. Aarti Aiswara Kumar. Rinda Reddy Kundar. Ankit Kurchanya. Sri Varun Lopu. Ram Siddharth Manikam. Satish Kumar Masilamani. Jay Prajat Modi. Sahul Pir Mohammed. Sri Harsha Motukuru. Satvik Movyo. Hima Bendu Nagabarthria. Lalit Kumar Naidu. Krishna Meghana Nekudaku. Urwish Yashvant Kumar Patel. Manikisha Ponan. Anarupsai Potura. Rahul Rayaneni. Tuhita Reddiwari. Angel Omar Romero Jerez. Mitishri Shret. Anu Shiwatkoti. Luke Anthony Scheffler. William Clayton Sims. Shwetab Shivastava. Bargavi Deshraye Urs. Uswal Gud Vadaboina. Nitin Venkatesh. Sri Kiranmaya Virapanetti. Sri Harsha Venkatrayapa. Yisel Yang. Fuchiang Zhong. Nagar Xiao Nasrabadi. Varnika Reddy Gumi. We will now recognize the master's candidates in the Department of Electrical Engineering. Surya Teja Avandnula. Sweta Chandrakant Kodpati. Victor Charles Chinta. Krishnakant Danseti. Ayman Isam Farshuk. Shubhankar Garg. Yilong Hao. Bhavya Idaphuladapati. Venkata Sriram Kadiyala. Balachandra Reddy Kureli. Akshay Malhotra. Nagashri Nagaraj Mundagamani. Malavaika Murali. Sweta Nagaraj. Rawentaja Chakrawala. Harish Reddy Narela. Trupti Nyalkartkar. Sai Pranith Prabha. Archita Parvatkar. Vrushank Atkulkumar Patel. Nikhil Patil. Venkata Sri Ramakrishna Sangulapoti, Sharmishta Satpati, Nishit Samir Bashad, Vishal Shai, Bhavon Sonkara, Parth Rajesh Kumar Trivedi, Nenaya Megdobo Udoche, Krishnakant Vangaru. We will now recognize the master's candidates in the Department of Industrial Manufacturing and Systems Engineering. Sunith Ayala, Adabiya Sanusi Akinsanya, Nikita Akula, Pratiksha Altoedo, Christoph Bolejan, Karnakar Charala, Srinath Dagala, Nikita Praveen Dixit, Srinidhi Gangasani, Narendra Gangaraju, Bhavana Gatram, Vikas Avinash Hinj, Danny Thomas John, Venkata Sai Ram Kaja, Ravi Chandra Reddy Kandanulu, Sravani Kode, Rupan Reddy Kalanu, Pujita Kota, Russell Nikit Mascarenas, Carrie Lynn Mizell, Venkata Vineeth Mucherla, Mitil Patel, Neil Vinod Kumar Patel, Sai Krishna Pupala, Pranesh Ramachandra Murthy, Vivek Sagi, Nahal Sakhavand, Vaishal Shah, Jashandeep Singh, Madhu Kiran Venmula, Mamidi Rama Venkata Naga Siva Ganesh Kartikeya. We will now recognize the master's candidates in the Department of Material Science and Engineering. Beatrice Achiumpang, Supraja Venkata Kamakshi Venkadurli, Sravya Jasula, Michael Cody Mishler, Ronak Singh Parmar, We will now recognize the master's candidates in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Jahid Ahmed, Tolulope Motunrayo Akendojo, Muhammad Shahid Ali, Christopher Joseph Allen, Hakan Arslan, Vignesh Balasubramanian, from Raz M. Barucha, Shahzad Shahrukh Balsara, Aaron Busk, Aaron Turner Kane, Nayeli Esmeralda Davila. Joshua Michael Dawson. Dhruv Deshpande. Nirav Kumar Krabasin Dodea. Srikant Reddy Edla. Ameya Rajendra Godbolu. Vijay Gopal. Devi Prasad Gorapati. Venkata Sai Pratap Reddy Gurala. Shashank Hari Hapuri Ramesh. Manikanta Jonagala Gada. Aniket Ramachandra Kalambe. Ruturaj Kiran Kokata. Mitul Haresh Kumar Naik. Pranav Bharatbhai Parikh. Aikash Mahendrabhi Patel. Priyankumar Arvindabai Patel. Mayuri Suresh Patil. Saketh Ram Perry. Dikshith Pitala. Prasad Prumad Revankar. Vincent Patrick Ricketts. Rajat Kamlesh Warfapaz Singh. Michael Vu.
Please join me in congratulating our newest master's candidates.
Will all the candidates for bachelor degrees please rise? These candidates, by satisfactorily completing their current semester academic work, will meet all the requirements of their degrees as specified by the department faculty and the undergraduate assembly. I am pleased to recognize that they are completing the degree for which they have been certified. Congratulations to you all. Please be seated. Dr. Carter Tiernan will now ask each department chairman to come forward to present their baccalaureate degree candidates.
Dr. Ali Abamali will now present the candidates for bachelor degrees in the Department of Civil Engineering.
Will the candidates for bachelor degrees from the Civil Engineering Department please rise and come forward to be recognized?
Brittany Nicole Alcorn, magna cum laude. Miles Cameron Aliard. Akram Nassar Awad, cum laude. Matthew Thomas Burgess. Taylor Bruce Durden, cum laude. Luis Ricardo Guerrero. Brendan Hamilton. Jorge Alberto Jimenez Torres, cum laude. Derek Auld Kidi. Farwa Lali, cum laude. Tenjing Lama, magna cum laude. James Lance. Christian Bofenda Lebebele, magna cum laude. Ana Rosa Lozano. Alfredo Luera, summa cum laude. Christian Dean Mendoza. Jose Gabriel Murillo. John Travis Overturf. Amy Lee Parker, cum laude. Javier Perez Alvarez. Nan Fang Hong Pham. Cesar Razo Garcia, magna cum laude. Manaf Rafai, magna cum laude. Yasemin Saradini. Michael Anthony Salcedo. Mauro Santos. Amy Tran. Javier Valdez. Kelly Dawn Ward. Joseph Williams. Dr. Hong Jiang will now present the candidates for bachelor degrees in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering.
Will the candidates for bachelor degrees from the Department of Computer Science and Engineering please rise and come forward to be recognized?
Suhail Ahmed, magna cum laude. Shane Montgomery Andrews. Sabine Raj Barajcharya. Emery Barnes. Timothy Isaac Bean. Patrick Allen Brake, summa cum laude. Saurav Dungana. Kai Hu Din, summa cum laude. Saul Fabian Estrada, cum laude. Picard dos Messi Folafak. Zachary Curtis Hosbrook, cum laude. Nathan Charles Hill, cum laude. Amado Stephen Jose, magna cum laude. Damber Kadka, summa cum laude. Kevin Andrew Koshin. Jesus Arturo Linares. Chin Lu. Francisco Martinez. Anastasia Toledo Martinezo. Timothy Michael McCoy. Craig Andrew Moritz. J. Christopher Ocampo. Walter Oduk. Nishal Pandey, cum laude. Mohammed Idris Patan. Shamila Rajwant. Sulabh Shiwakoti, cum laude. Vivek Shrestha, cum laude. James Francis Stout. Not Chao Tran, cum laude. Ahad Virani. John Weidman. Han Zhang, summa cum laude. Dr. Jonathan Brado will now present the candidates for bachelor degrees in the Department of Electrical Engineering.
Will the candidates for Bachelor of Science degrees in Electrical Engineering please rise and come forward to be recognized?
Lakeisha Darshay Avery. Nazia Tasneen Ayub. Stephanie Shade Bello. Dwi Nak Din, magna cum laude. David Allen Dodson, cum laude. Andrew Neem Duong. Quan Tan Ho, magna cum laude. Mila Hunt. Osaude Badin Emade, magna cum laude. Anil Jirel. Ethan Liam Le. Nikolai Dumitru Lesenso. Clayton Monroe Lucas. Jeffrey Mark Mays, summa cum laude. Bardia Mora. Lee Kwai Nguyen. Shin Yup Park. Mukul A. Patel. Matthew Allen Ponto. Umberto Sariana, magna cum laude. David Seekins. Devij Shrestha. Jimmy Truong. David Carroll Williams, cum laude. Dr. Paul Componation will now present the candidates for bachelor's degrees in the Department of Industrial, Manufacturing, and Systems Engineering.
Will the candidates for a bachelor's degree in the Department of Industrial, Manufacturing, and Systems Engineering please stand and come forward to be recognized?
Sarmelia Archaya, magna cum laude. Aaron Rayuel Al-Lagar. Kubab Jamal Bari. Caitlin Webb Bertucci. Lynette Cruz. Stephen Joseph Holcomb, magna cum laude. Davis Huang. Yara Hussein. Justin Thomas Janega. Saibu Raj Kandal. Murat Kuchuke. Swat Kuchuke. Rania Majid Malkawi. Kui Win. Brian Shiroma. April Short, magna cum laude. Chakrajiva Mitra Singh, cum laude. Dylan Matthew Slick, magna cum laude. Priya Darshini Subramanian. Gabriela Chombe. Dr. Arian Armanios will now present the candidates for bachelor degrees in the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering.
Will the candidate for bachelor degrees from the Department of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering please rise and come forward to be recognized?
Jacinta Hiran Amaranyaka. Truett Alexander Amons, cum laude. Michael Edward Araujo. James Reed Benner. Rabin Batarai. Travis Ross Butler. Matthew Noah Cox. Juan Alberto Davila, cum laude. Glenn Everett Dodson. Alasker Salim Dogo. Anne Marie Franchek. Joseph Frank, cum laude. Alexandra Maria Gamboa. Caleb Gentry, summa cum laude. Joshua David Henley, cum laude. Juvenal Jove. Benito Timothy Juarez. Ted Anthony Lindsay. Adrian Loza, cum laude. Dui Lu. Raphael Lujan, magna cum laude. Parker Hart Mays. Eric Medina. Wesley Wayne Mercer, magna cum laude. Lauren Michelle Middleton Wellman. Omar Morfin. Thin Duke Win, cum laude. Kevin Nichols. Ifanya Emmanuel Ofor. Victoria Pankonian. Stephen Paul Pape Jr. Jagar Kumar Prajapati, magna cum laude. Junaid Nassar Ahmed. Rima Rai. Nicholas Charles Richardelli. Wesley Andrew Rubman. Alan Jacob Sager. Dipendra Shrestha. Roger Shrestha. Claire M. Simmons. Jeremy Nathaniel Sue, magna cum laude. Omar Antonio Tejeda. Aaron Tritton. Jay Taladar. Jonathan Rafael Veloza. Nicholas Matthew Venter.
Congratulations to you all. While this day and this ceremony focuses on the graduates, we want to be sure to recognize the tremendous support these students have received from their loved ones. Those who provided emotional, intellectual, and financial support to enable them to reach this point. So graduates, will you please stand? Please join me in recognizing parents, grandparents, spouses, siblings, and friends who have sustained you on your journey. Graduates, upon completion of your degrees, UT Arlington is now your alma mater. At this time, would everyone please stand? We will be singing Alma Mater, and the words of that will appear on the monitor and also there in the program booklet that you have.
Dear school we love, you are our alma mater, and through the years, our faith we shall proclaim. We are each one, a loyal son or daughter, a song of praise shall glorify your name. Dear school we love, forever Arlington, forever Arlington.
Please be seated. It is my understanding that the bachelor's degree candidates have one last engineering assignment in front of them. Ladies and gentlemen, the floor is yours. Can I ask all our graduating students to please rise? We are gathered here to share in the celebration of a transition in the lives of our students, the crossing of a symbolic threshold from students to learned members and leaders of society. You, our graduating students, represent our very best, and we expect that each of you will change our lives for the better and the world with it. Each of you has touched us in so many ways. We will miss you, yet we are happy that you are moving on to another chapter in your lives. On your shoulders now rests the responsibility for furthering the reputation of the University of Texas at Arlington by what you do and what you achieve from this day forth. And as you get ready to leave these hallowed halls, we ask that you stay connected and engaged with your alma mater as alumni. Come visit us often. There are no more tests, no assignments, no projects, no more late nights. Talk about your university affiliation with pride. Play an active role in furthering our continuing drive for further levels of excellence, and celebrate our future accomplishments just as we will celebrate yours. We are now at the moment that you've been waiting for all these years and probably counting down the minutes through this ceremony, the celebration of your success and the achievement of a tremendous milestone. By virtue of the authority vested by law on the Board of Regents of the University of Texas System and delegated to the University of Texas at Arlington, I hereby confer upon each of you the respective academic degrees for which you have been recommended, with all rights, privileges, responsibilities, and obligations pertaining thereto. Honored guests and members of the faculty, please join me in congratulating our graduates and the newest alumni of the University of Texas at Arlington. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, President Karbahari. I would like to ask that the graduates please remain standing while I invite you to participate in two important commencement traditions. First, for those graduates who have received the official UT Arlington Maverick ring, you may now turn your ring so that UT Arlington faces outward. Okay. This symbolizes that you have earned your UT Arlington diploma and are now ready to face the world. From this day forward, all who encounter you will recognize you as a graduate of the University of Arlington at Texas. Congratulations. Second, graduates who have earned master's and doctoral degrees, you changed your tassel from right to left when you received your bachelor degrees. And it will always remain on the left from this day forward. Bachelor graduates, you may now switch your tassel to the left side to signify that you have completed I don't think I need to finish this sentence but I was going to say you have completed your undergraduate studies. I would like to congratulate you all for all of our graduates again for your accomplishments and wish you continued success as you begin the next chapter of your lives. As our ceremony concludes, the graduates will follow behind the faculty using the center aisle to exit the arena. Graduates, please stay in line until you reach the outside exit onto Moritz Plaza. Guests, please remain seated until all graduates have exited the arena. You may exit by north, northeast, and northwest doors and meet your graduates outside on Moritz Plaza and begin your family celebration. Thank you for your cooperation, and again, congratulations. This proceeding is ended.
Thank you.